Our Target 7 team has stayed on top of problems plaguing our state's Children's, Youth and Families Department.
Tonight they look into how the organization determines if a child should be taken into custody and why it comes down to simply checking boxes. Here's Target 7's John Cardinelli.
When CYFD pursues a report of child abuse, a caseworker interviews the child and conducts a home visit. During the process, they use a structured decision-making model, also known as a decision tool, to help determine if the child is at risk. But some say there are problems with the tool, and workers are relying on it too much. This is a photograph of 4-year-old James Dunkley Cruz.
He loved to play in the dirt with his cars and things like that. He loved to play with the slot cars, which are in the garage.
Kevin Nelson will never see his grandson James again. Should James still be alive today?
Absolutely. This did not need to happen.
In December of 2019, James was beaten to death by his mother's roommate, Zarek Marquez, who is now serving a life sentence. Following James's death, a whistleblower from CYFD came forward and said the organization had 8 investigations to determine any risk to James, but he was never removed from his home. Did CYFD fail James?
Absolutely, 100% across the board.
Because of the claims made by the whistleblower, Nelson filed suit against CYFD, claiming negligence in James's death. The suit blames some of the negligence on a structured decision-making tool that was implemented by the agency back in 2019. According to the suit, it was made to help, quote, shift the mindset in favor of the policy that fewer children in custody was not just better for children and families, but is the mark of the agency's success. That statement has caused debate about the efficacy of the tool at a Legislative Finance Committee meeting in May.
Under your structured decision-making tool, in which you instructed staff to shift the policy that fewer children in custody is not only better for CYFD, but it is also the mark of the department's success. I would disagree. New Mexico would define your success as no more dead kids.
This study done on SDM tools in Australia found that staff of an agency using a tool manipulated it to achieve the outcome they desired. With an outcome identified in New Mexico, Marilyn Beck with New Mexico Child First Network believes this is happening.
It's not being used as it was intended to be used. Workers are using it to confirm confirmation bias.
But Beck points to another problem surrounding the tool.
We are asking people to do things out of their comfort zone without support, without training, without reinforcements.
Target 7 discovered a collaborative safety report from July of 2022 that CYFD released. In it, the agency identified ways in which they could improve. The report said that not everyone knew how to use the tool and that more training on it was needed.
Training workers more on this tool is not the answer we're hoping it would be.
7 months later, in February of this year, former CYFD Secretary Barbara Vigil had this to say.
One of the things that we learned is that the investigators were just using the tool as being the end-all be-all to a decision, an assessment.
Studies in other states show that SDM tools should not be the end-all be-all. This one from Children's Services in North Carolina found that while tools can promote accuracy, decisions and judgment about children and families should always come down to workers and their supervisors. Former Secretary Vigil went on to echo those findings.
We don't want it to substitute their good judgment. We want it to be a tool in assessing risk and safety.
Confusion around the tool and how it's being used was addressed last legislative session with the proposal of Senate Memorial 63. It would have asked for the Attorney General to study and take a look at how the tool in our state is being used and whether it's working to improve the safety of children. It was never heard during the session. I'm John Cardinelli reporting for Target 7.
Target 7 aired a 30-minute investigation into CYFD called Broken Promises. For more information, scan the QR code on your screen or go to KOAT.com.